If you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
Horns growing on young people's skulls. No, not like this, but it is actually happening to some young people who are developing horn-like spikes at the back of their skulls. And these bone spurs are caused by constant forward tilt of the head, which is being blamed on, you guessed it, phones.
Look up. Pay attention. Sustained bad posture over a tiny screen could lead to one of these. It does look sort of like a horn, but actually this is a bone spur near the base of the skull. Researchers in Australia examined hundreds of x-rays and found that roughly 40% of people 18 to 30 years old who use their phones more than 4.5 hours a day developed the growth. The likely cause? All that hunching over, sending texts and checking social media.
Do you find yourself on your phone a lot?
Yeah, I'm addicted because it's obsessive and you like that and your body's all like screwed up.
This kind of bone spur is typically something elderly people might develop after decades of bad posture, not young adults.
It's really scary. It's a big find. It's a big sign. It tells us that we're changing. I mean, we're changing the physical aspects of human beings.
Add the horn to a growing list of ailments caused by our tech use, like text neck and texting thumb. So what's the solution? Prop up tablets on a pillow, hold screens higher. Or here's an idea, just put the phone down altogether.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. Kind of ironic, right? The title of, this whole story that people are growing horns on their head because of cell phone use. And yes, they're saying it's because of posture. But it's interesting, this whole thing, right? And it shows you how obsessive and sick our society is because they're just constantly on the device. Now, they could use something like this and they could say, listen, people are forming horns. Their bodies are now deformative because they're looking down and texting. Let's just put the phone inside the body and they could look straight ahead and text and they could talk through their brain. I mean, this is perfect for transhumanism if you ask me. But really, when we talk about this, like the horn growing, and this is like a big story all of a sudden, I love how they don't talk about the cell towers, the 5G, the radiation, or any of that other stuff, because people are getting brain tumors because of this technology. And it's funny to me because one of the most mocked videos that people do on me when they attack me are teens, just loser, just horrible channels with, no content. But they're clearly defensive because they're on their phone 24/7. And they're like, oh, the 5G technology is going to kill people. These people are nuts. These people are crazy. I want to be able to download my Nintendo game quicker. And it's like, how could you think that any of this stuff is safe? Just because you can't see the radiation in the air. This is what they should be talking about. But this is also something that shows you how sick and obsessive our culture is with being on their devices. That they're literally getting deformities in their skulls. Now, I believe more so this is from the radiation, to be honest. But they'll say it's just from posture. This article says mobile technologies transferred the way we live, how we read, work, communicate, shop, and date. But we already know this. What we have not yet grasped is the way the tiny machines in front of us are remodeling our skeletons. No crap. And don't forget about those towers out there. This is possibly altering not just the behaviors we exhibit, but the bodies we inhabit. New research in biomechanics suggests that young people are developing horn-like spikes, which again, is pretty funny, right? Devil horns, pretty funny how this is worded. Don't think that that's not a coincidence, because remember, all these people who are doing this to our bodies, from chemtrailing to vaccinations to all of it, all the way down, these people all worship the beast. So new research suggests that young people are developing horn-like spikes at the back of their skulls. Bone spurs caused by the forward tilt of the head, which shifts weight from the spine to the muscles and to the back of the head, causing bone growth in the connecting tendons and ligaments. The weight transfer that causes the buildup can be compared by the way the skin thickens into a callus as a response to pressure or abrasion. The result is a hook or horn-like feature jetting out from the skull just above the neck. And now there's a bunch of stories that come out trying to like debunk it and debate it. You know, and I mean, I don't know if this is technically, you know, true. I would imagine it. I mean, it's hard not to think. I don't know if the body can transform like that. I'm not a doctor or whatever. You know, I don't research this kind of stuff. But it does just show you that, you know, if they're debating and they're like, oh, it is doing this or it's not, that there's clearly just a problem with people being on their devices. But I'm telling you, this is the type of stuff that they can do to socially engineer people into wanting transhumanism, into wanting the mark, right? Okay, you know, now your phone's in you. Remember some of the videos I did where people could just think and the words would come up on the computer, stuff like that. I mean, I guess that's not new technology, but just imagine, you know, how people are going to be like running to get this stuff. Like, oh, the new iPhone is no longer a phone. It's like, they'll call it like IU, right? The all-seeing eye in you. And then people will be able to just see everything in front of them, like a Minority Report or something. You know, and they won't have to look down. Then they don't have to worry about their bodies growing abnormal because, God forbid, they just get rid of the phone. And people start living their lives again, interacting with people face to face. Or, you know, playing sports or doing activities, hiking, fishing, whatever. Mowing the lawn, for crying out loud. Picking your nose. I mean, people are just, I don't even know. I mean, how often, you know, go out in public and you see these people. It's scary. You know, when I do go out, I bump into people all the time because they're looking down and I'm just like shaking my head. I'm like, just what idiots these people. They don't even care. They can just walk in front of, you know, a car driving, but they got to get that text out. You know, I'm afraid to even go on the roads because I'm serious. Every time I drive anywhere, you know, especially like a highway and you're in the right lane and somebody's poking and you're like, oh, and you got to get over. And then you see him like swerve and your natural thought is like, oh, this guy's drunk as a skunk, even though it's 11 in the morning. But then you go by, you pass, you give them a scowl and look in and you just see them looking down at their phone. I'm not kidding you. Last week I was driving and a car was going like 10 under and I passed it. The guy, he was in a regular car, but he had his police uniform on, so he was a cop. And he was texting. But of course, he can get away with that because, you know, the Masonic Brotherhood, they can do whatever they want. Laws don't abide to them, only to us, you know, the Goyim. So anyway, I wanted to share this new study because I thought it was ironic that they're calling it horns. People are growing horns, right, on their heads. But meanwhile, people really are growing things called brain tumors and developing problems with their brains because of these 5G towers that are now being installed. But nobody seems to care about that because anytime a story comes out, everyone's like, oh, these crazy conspiracy people, they think that the 5G towers are going to kill us off. Oh, my goodness. They have no idea, you know, like they can't fathom why the government would do this to us. And it's basic thinking. No, of course, there wouldn't want to be people who are in control of money, power, everything. No, of course not. That's not human instinct. You go to a job. Don't you want to make more money at the job? Right? Most common thing in a job is like, you know, somebody not respecting their boss because they think they could do it better than their boss. Right? Or, oh, so-and-so, you know, makes more money than me but doesn't do as much work. Well, what's that about? These people control everything. They want to keep dumbing us down with fluoriding the water, with chemtrailing from the skies, dumping aluminum on us. All this stuff, over and over and over. So why would they not use silent warfare like HAARP, like 5G, and do all this stuff and weaponize everything they can against us? Because if people could see what was actually going on, they would uprise. People wouldn't allow it. They wouldn't be like, yeah, let's let them zap us. But they're doing it in ways where people can't prove anything, at least as far as you can't convince people that they're doing it. You can prove it. You could test the water. But they come out and they go, yeah, there's fluoride in the water. But all those crazy conspiracies about fluoride being bad for you have been debunked. No, they haven't. Why was Stalin putting fluoride in the water? Oh, I forget. Because he wanted people to be weak, tired, lifeless, feeling like hungover every day from water. It's the most common thing you need in your body. So don't think 5G towers and cell phones in general aren't dangerous, because they are. And they want people on these devices 24/7 for lots of reasons. Not just that, but also obviously so they can always socially engineer them with commercials, with content, with products. And that's the crazy world we live in 2019. I thank you for listening to today's show. Try not to grow horns on your skull, all right? God bless all of you and your families.